when he delivered me from all these drugs, and my wife used to pray over me from drinking, I remember I didn't want her to touch me at times, you know what I mean? When I drink, when we were first dating, she was praying over me, man. And I get real, real hot. And I'm like, don't touch me. You know, like I didn't want her to touch me. And so once we moved and got our own place, you know, that's when God really started revealing himself to me. You know, he always revealed himself to me, but that's when I started listening. You know, because, you know, the enemy talks to us, but God also talks to us if we just be still and listen, you know what I mean? And so I'm going to church, and one night my wife, she was into watching all these delivering videos, and like when she'd watch them, it's something about me that made me mad. Like it was like, I don't want to hear that. Like I don't want to hear them people screaming, and because I was dealing with something that was inside me too, you know what I mean? It was like, I had a spirit of a Jezebel spirit. I had a Python spirit. And for y'all ones who don't know, like a Python spirit, basically it squeezes the life out of you, you know what I mean? You know, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, you know? And that's what he's doing, he's breaking me down, trying to, you know what I mean? But God had another plan for me. One night I'm asleep, and she watching these videos, so she turned to me and started delivering me while I was asleep, and my body was just shaking, and I'm aware of it. I'm like throwing my body, like just going crazy, you know what I mean? And like, I jump up, I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, and she like, I was praying over you. I'm like, I knew I had something, and it was some spirits. I had some spirits I was dealing with, man, and a man named Daniel Adams ended up delivering me, you know, over a Zoom call. And it was like, I felt when he said, can I pray for you, man? And I was like, yeah. And he started calling stuff out. And like my whole body was, I can feel it going up my whole body, you know, my stomach, my lungs, and try to wrap around my lungs, you know, and finally I end up, you know, getting delivered, you know what I mean? And then the second time I got delivered, because all of them wasn't out yet, you know, it's like I took my son to a revival in Dallas, Texas. I ended up getting in this ministry, and that's when God really, really started, you know, like locking in, like, you know, but I done got my prayer language. I got baptized again with my son, you know what I mean? And my wife, and me and my wife, it was like a swimming pool, but we were side by side, my son and then my other stepson. You know, we all got baptized together. This was in a place called Prayer Mountain in Dallas, Texas. When I got delivered from the spirit of anger and murder that goes hand in hand. And I remember my wife kind of snugged me. This is the second time she snugged me. First time was in Atlanta when we drove down there. But she said, let's go close to the front. I go to the front. She because we all know each other. Okay, in different hubs, we got an Oklahoma hub, we got a Texas hub, we got a Florida hub, Atlanta hub, you know, and so we in Houston, but this woman from Florida, she's in Florida's hub. My wife knows her. She's like, could you pray for my husband? My husband, I always feel like he'll kill somebody, you know, like, so she like praying over me. And like she said, don't try to be tough. And I was thinking this, and the woman called my thought out. I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and my son standing in the back of me, he got, you know, prayed for and delivered too, you know. So we decided to go to another revival, you know, in this ministry we in. This one's in Houston, Texas. And we was down there for 4 days. And at this time, my wife had got pregnant, and people was saying, like, I mean, when she got prayed for, she was just shaking, like, whole uterus, everything was shaking. And we've been trying for 4 years, almost 4 years, to have a baby, and nothing happened, you know, like, and so she getting prayed for, and the people was like, they canceling stuff off of her. They say, I can see, like, in the spirit, like, people are speaking in the spirit realm against you, you know what I mean? Saying y'all don't belong together, and like a Jezebel spirit, you know, was at a point in time in my marriage. It was a time where something was telling me to leave my wife. It was because something was speaking to the spirit realm for me to leave my wife. You know what I mean? I didn't know why. You know what I mean? It was just, you know. And so they canceled all that stuff off of us, and we drove back to Oklahoma, and we went to Walmart, and we took a pregnancy test, and she was pregnant. You know what I mean? That was a beautiful thing, because I knew that was God too. You know, like, he was just showing us, like, you know, he's God, you know. And what's crazy is, like, I just had prayed for a kid. All this time I really ain't prayed for a child, you know, but I had prayed like a month before this time, you know, for a child, you know. And I started, one of my child's mothers took me to court to take my little girl away. And I felt like the enemy was trying to sneak back in to make me mad, you know. So at night I stay up and I get angry, like stuff was trying to come over me and stuff like that. And I just cancel it out, because the enemy is a lie, you know. At the end of the day, you know, my daughter is God's, you know what I mean? I'm God's, you know, like, and he's our father, you know what I mean? If we let him, you know? And so I didn't sign my rights away, nothing like that, you know, but they ended up taking them from me in court, you know, so. But God blessed me with a different child, you know, another child, you know.